So I watched Monday Night Raw and I want to talk about it. I watched the November 4th, 2024 edition. And so let's get into it. So we start with Liv Morgan and she comes out to gloat. She's with Dom and Raquel and she just comes out to gloat because, she won. She won the WWE Women's Crown Jewel Championship and she had the ring and she was showing it off as she should have. She deserves it. But she's a heel. She's doing a great job with her character. Like, her laugh is so annoying. And so then come out the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. So Bianca and Jade come out and they start talking to Liv and to Raquel. And they're like, didn't you come up to us last week? And weren't you talking about how you were going to come after our titles? And they challenged them to a match. And then Adam Pearce came out because it started to get really heated. And then Liv just started to talk smack about Bianca. She was like, oh, Jade, better watch your back. Bianca is going to betray you. It got to the point that the Bianca Belair turned around and she just slapped like Liv Morgan's whole face right off. I enjoyed it. But then Adam Pearce was like, they're going to have a battle royale to see who the number one contender is for Liv's title. And so I was excited to see it. Now, we saw some women in this match that we haven't seen in a while. I feel like we saw Lyra, we saw Shayna Baszler, Zoe Stark, DeVille, Carter, Katana. We saw Natty. Like, these women, they're in the tag team division. But we haven't seen them in a few weeks. I feel like ever since Raw got a little, shorter than, than it was because it was long. They haven't been at all seen, but it was nice to see them. They're still in the same storyline. They were still going against each other, but at the end of the day, I liked it. I like seeing them. I miss them. They're very talented women, and I feel like they could have really great matches. And eventually WWE is going to figure it out. They're going to figure out how to showcase all the women that they have, because they do have a very deep roster. But anyway, eventually we get down to the last four. And it is Bianca, Jade, Io, and Lyra. Very interesting because Liv and Raquel got involved. So Bianca was trying to throw, I think it was Io, over the top rope. But Raquel grabbed Bianca's braid, and so she just kept pulling her so that she would come over the top rope. And so Jade came to help her, and then Liv Morgan came to help Raquel, and Raquel and Liv helped to throw Bianca and Jade over the top rope and eliminate them from the battle royale. Personally, I'm happy this happened. We just had a champion versus champion match. I don't know if WWE is still going to put Bianca or Jade versus Liv. I don't think so, since we just had a battle royale for the number one contender. But I'm happy this didn't happen. WWE did this a lot before. They would put the world heavyweight champions with the tag team champions, and it always made the tag team champions look weak. And I don't think we should be doing that to our champions. And so I'm glad that they didn't become the number one contender. Eventually, will they? Of course. And I can't wait to see the match because they're very talented. But right now, let's focus on them going after people who are in the tag team division. And maybe, they probably are going to have that match with Raquel and Liv, because Liv might want to be a double champion. But she's not going to have a match for that title that Liv has. And then, we can move on and focus on the other people in the tag team division. I think that's going to be a good match, too, because Raquel's a powerhouse, Jade is a powerhouse, Bianca's a powerhouse, and Liv, she's like a spitfire. She's very fast, and she's like a snake. She can just wiggle her way out of things. But anyway, it came down to the last two, and it was Io and it was Lyra Valkyria. Now, I do notice this about Lyra. When she is in a match that is not involved with the tag team division, she's always showcased. She's always in battle royals, the last four, the last two. Okay? In the women's Queen of the Ring, she was the last two with Nia Jax. And so WWE, I feel like they hold her to a very strong regard because they do book her strong when they can. And she was booked strong here, but I knew Io was going to win. And I cannot wait to see that match because I am a fan of Io Sky. Like, she is my favorite wrestler. I like wrestlers, but she's my favorite wrestler. She's one of my favorite wrestlers. And so when I saw her versus Lyra, I said, I know Io's going to win. And she did. And she did. And so now she's going to go against Liv Morgan. I'm pretty sure shenanigans are going to happen in that match. But if Io's in the match, she's going to give it her all. And it's going to be a great match. It's going to be amazingly entertaining. So I'm excited that she won. And then after this, we had Xavier Woods and Kofi were being interviewed, right? And so let me tell you, Xavier was just saying a whole bunch of lies. And Kofi's whole facial expression was like, what a liar, right? Because Xavier was like, it was the War Raiders. It was their fault we lost the match. And then Kofi was like, no, it wasn't. And so they started going back and forth. And I'm like, it looks like it's going to implode. But like I said, I don't think they're imploding. I think either Kofi's going to turn heel or Big E's going to come back in some form and he's going to help them stay together. But I just don't feel like they're going to, it's way too on the nose. It's way too on the nose. And so we kind of got a picture of The Miz, and I guess he found Bo Dallas because he was tied up to a chair and he was blindfolded. So he found him. And then we had Jimmy, Jay, and Sammy's whole segment. I love this segment. Now, last week I said that I'm going to give Jay credit because I feel like he has grown as a character. And he proved me right on Raw. Because Sammy came out. He was explaining himself and what happened and everything with Roman. And then Jay came out. And you know what is the first thing that Jay said? He said, thank you, Sammy. Thank you for having my back. He looked beyond the whole Roman Reigns incident and looked at the bigger picture. So I'm very appreciative of that. And then, of course, Jimmy had to come and try to ruin it because he's a manipulator. Like I told you before, I don't think that Jimmy is actually sorry. I don't think he's sorry. But anyway, regardless, Jimmy came out here and started talking smack about Sammy. And so Sammy stood his ground and he said the truth. Not a single lie was told. He said to Jimmy, you're talking about not trusting me? You and I were something. We were friends before me and Jimmy were even friends. And he said, who kicked me in the face? Who betrayed me? That was you. Who betrayed Jay? That was you. Let me tell you, he came with the receipts. And Jimmy had nothing to say. He was like, oh, what? You want an apology? I'm like, no, man. He doesn't want an apology, but he's just showing you that you're full of crap. And Jay's not falling for it either. I knew he wasn't going to fall for the gaslighting and the manipulation. Like I said, he has grown. And then the best part of it all was because Sammy was like, I'm done with this. And so he was walking away from the whole situation, from the whole original bloodline. And then Jay said, no, family works things out. Family works things out. And he said, I was wrong. Family is not just blood. And that Sammy is family. And that he wants to see Sami Zayn in SmackDown. Let me tell you, Jimmy had like a stank face the whole time. But Jay put him in his place, and so did Sami Zayn. And so this is going to be interesting because the whole original bloodline is going to be there on SmackDown. I wonder if Paul Heyman's going to come back too eventually. But the original members are going to be there. And they're going to talk. So I'm really interested. I'm going to do a part 2. But thank you for watching.